From the 26th week, babies spend about 90% of their time sleeping, and when they sleep, nothing can wake them. For the other 10% of the time, they're awake and alert, ready for whatever might happen next. They may react to sudden sounds with the startle reflex, flinging their arms and legs out to the side. The startle reflex is thought to have originated at a time when we were more at risk of being eaten. A sudden noise or touch from a predator triggers the reflex and causes the arms to fling out to the side in what may be an attempt at self-preservation. This may not be so relevant to our lives today, but other reflexes are crucial to survival after birth. In this 4D image, the fetus swallows amniotic fluid. During this trimester, she'll swallow a pint of fluid every day. By drinking, the fetus helps maintain the liquid balance in the womb. It also helps her digestive system develop properly. But from the moment she's born and the cord is cut, she needs to have perfected the art of taking food from her mouth to her stomach. Along with swallowing, one of the most important reflexes to perfect before birth is sucking. Anything vaguely nipple-sized that comes close to her mouth triggers her attempts at the sucking reflex. This fetus, 25 weeks old, first sucked its thumb at about 11 weeks, at which time it may have already begun to develop a lifelong preference for one hand or the other. Ultrasound scans have shown that as soon as thumb sucking begins, a fetus tends to show a clear preference for either the left or right thumb. This left or right-handedness, which stays with it for life, develops in the womb, rather than during early childhood as was previously thought. At 26 weeks, the fetus measures almost 10 inches from head to toe. She's growing fast, and as she moves through the 3rd trimester towards birth, the fetus will triple her weight and double her length. The brain and nervous system will continue to grow dramatically, and soon the fetus will create something even more remarkable. At 26 weeks, the baby's parents may enjoy a pleasant surprise. Now it's possible to hear the fetal heartbeat just by putting an ear to the mother's abdomen.
Is she kicking?
The baby's heart beats about twice as fast as her mother's. Monitoring her heartbeat gives a good indication of her general condition.
Yeah. It's more vibration there. I'm feeling.
The mother's heart rate and blood pressure are directly affected by her emotional state. If she's calm, her heart slows down and her blood pressure drops. If she's tense and stressed, her heart beats faster and her blood pressure rises. Although the fetus has her own separate blood supply, these increases in heart rate and blood pressure are easily passed through the placenta and have a direct impact on the baby. It takes a while for the effects to filter through, but when the mother is recovering from the impact of stress and her heart rate is returning to normal, her baby's heart begins to race as the physiological effects of stress creep through the placenta. In the short term, stress in the mother can lead to low birth weight or premature birth. But it's also possible that a mother's prolonged anxiety and stress can be passed on, establishing a tendency for stress in the child and making her more likely to develop chronic health problems, such as heart disease and diabetes. It can even have a harmful effect on the child's mental development in the early years of her life. By now, the mother can feel her baby move every day. Usually, it's the fetus kicking or pushing, but sometimes she may feel the regular twitch of her baby's hiccups. Hiccups are an involuntary sudden contraction of the diaphragm. Why fetuses hiccup is a bit of a mystery. One theory is that it's a reflex that may help a baby latch onto a nipple and feed. The spasm of a fetus's hiccup is strong enough to feel, but unlike our own hiccups, it makes no sound at all. The sound of an adult hiccup is made by the sudden rush of air that's stopped by the closure of the vocal cords. But in the fetus's lungs, there is no air, hence no hiccup sound. The last of the major organs to form are the lungs. The lungs don't function during the time in the womb. All the fetus's oxygen is delivered from the mother's blood via the placenta. Inside the fetus's lungs, the branching network of tubes is filled with amniotic fluid during the entire time in the womb, and the tiny air sacs that will extract oxygen from the air remain closed. But the fetus still makes breathing movements with her lungs and diaphragm. This strengthens the chest muscles so they're ready to expand and fill the lungs with air the moment the baby is born. Most fetuses that reach 26 weeks will make it through to birth with no problem. They simply put on weight and continue to exercise their reflexes and senses. But sometimes, things do go wrong.